Certainly a big step forward today for our community, continuing to heal from the mass shooting that changed everything 2 months ago. This morning, the Tops on Jefferson reopened to the public, and this half hour, we're going to be joined live by the president of the local NAACP, and we're going to talk about the Survivors Fund that has raised a lot of money to help those people directly impacted by the massacre. First, though, another look at that significant and emotional moment a bit before 8 o'clock this morning as employees gathered outside the store for a blessing. Then they went inside and got back to work. They welcomed customers for the first time since May 14th when we lost 10 of our own to hate. The store was redesigned but not fully renovated. That would have taken many more months, if not years. And there was a sense of urgency to get this store back up and running as quickly as possible. Of the 90 employees who worked at that Tops before, we're told 50 of them returned today. And officials told our crew this morning that the first 2 shoppers actually asked for job applications before they left.
Tops employees, they do not have to return. They could have choose to work at other Tops. They could have choose to work anywhere else. I haven't been in myself as of yet. I'm still a little, but I'm out here. And being out here, like right here, welcoming people as they go in, that's very important to me. And I will eventually, I will go in at my own time.
In the days and weeks that followed the shooting, there was an incredible show of support from the City of Good Neighbors and also people from all over the country, and that included a lot of money and donations. To try to streamline the process, Tops partnered with a group called the National Compassion Fund, and they created the Buffalo 514 Survivors Fund. This national group oversees fundraising efforts all over the country following mass shootings. Donations go directly to family members of those who were killed and also others impacted by the shooting. As of this morning, it's raised more than $4.7 million. Today we spoke with Jeff Dion, who is executive director of that fund.
And a lot of times it'll be corporations and big checks, and we might get 10, 15, 20 offline donations. We're well over 250, and from all sorts of businesses and individuals, church groups from around Buffalo, but even from all over the country. We'll get checks with notes from people saying, I don't live in Buffalo now, but I grew up there, and this really matters to me. And so we really feel how connected people are when they give. And that's why there's been a little bit of a delay. We've been so flooded with checks that it takes time for us to process them to get them on.
Joining me now to talk more about this is Reverend Mark Blue, president of the Buffalo NAACP. He's the co-chair of the 514 Fund and will be helping make the decisions about how the money is given out. Reverend, it's kind of you to share some time with us. We know that you're going to be leading that committee that will be handing out this money that's been raised. It is still early in this process. You're still accepting donations, and we'll talk about the timeline. But do you have a sense right now of how this is going to play out over the next few months and when families will start to see that financial support?
Well, one of the things that we have done is that we've had advance payments to some of the families. Some choose to accept them, and then others choose not to because they weren't in a need at that time. But I do feel that the time frame that we have selected is an adequate time frame for families to receive some monetary support. Again, this is a gift that they will be receiving. So we feel that we're working hard to make sure that we listen to our community. And I really want to stress, we're looking at the October 24th time frame for distribution of these funds, but there's a process in view. On July the 21st, at City Honors, there will be a community meeting, and we're asking individuals to be a part of that community meeting. We feel that the community input the community input is very important, and we have a draft protocol which is online, which you can view at nationalcompassionfund.org. And also, again, it is a draft, but we're working with that draft to make any changes. And we're listening to the input of the community members, of the families that have been affected, in order to make sure that we're doing our just due to make sure families are being taken care of.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that meeting again coming up this Thursday that you just mentioned there. What will be the ultimate goal? Obviously, you just want to be able to hear from folks in the community, right? And for someone who's thinking about attending, how important is it that people show up and have their voices heard?
It's very important, especially for the family members, especially for the victims. That will help us to make a decision on how things are done equitably and fairly. Now, let me say that each and every committee person on here, we love our community. And it's not that we're on here to rule over, to hoard, but we're on here because we care. And the compassion that we have for our community will show in the distribution of those funds. And I want to make sure that people understand 100% of the funds will be going to the family. There's no administrative fee that will come out of those funds. TOPS has paid the administrative fee to the National Compassion Fund. So 100% of the proceeds will go toward the families that have been affected.
Yeah, it's great for people who have donated to know that there are good stewards working to take care of these funds that have been given with a lot of love and to help people who have been so devastated. It's also been, a pretty monumental day with the store reopening earlier today. I just wonder what your thoughts and emotions are at this milestone.
Well, it's tough. And when is there a good time to reopen the store? That is a question that really cannot be answered by an individual, because everyone still has their own process to go through of grieving, and it's critical. I'll share with you, I went to that TOPS today, and I met people out in the community. I met people out in the parking lot. They greeted you, and then I went inside the store. It's a dramatic change in there. They did a good job in remodeling that TOPS. It's a welcoming atmosphere going in, and the parking lot was welcoming. Everyone that I ran into, they greeted you with a smile, even those who were shopping. It's the friendly TOPS, a community that I'm used to going to that TOPS, in which I've been to that TOPS several times prior to this incident. So I look and I can sympathize with those who feel they cannot make that transition to going there now, and I understand. But it is a vital resource for our community, in which is needed for the conditions of there's no grocery store there at all.
Finally,
so it's
Reverend,
very important that we be a participant in that.
I apologize there. Finally, I've only got about 30 seconds left, but I wanted to ask you, I recently heard from a family member of a victim who talked about the emotional trauma that she still lives with every day. It's a long grieving process. And even for those who weren't, quote unquote, directly impacted, they still know that someone drove hours into our community and targeted Black people in this, racist attack. Where is the community bigger picture, you think, in terms of the healing process?
It's going to take decades. This is a long process for the healing to come, but we're making small steps, and I believe that our community is resilient. We're going to get through this, and we're going to let those white supremacists know that you made a dent, but you won a battle, but you haven't won the war. So we are coming together as a community, and we will continue to be strong as a community.
Reverend Mark Blue is president of the Buffalo NAACP and the co-chair of the Survivors Fund Local Steering Committee. Thanks so much for coming on, and to everyone again, donations are being accepted to that fund up until September 20th, and there is this public meeting this coming Thursday. Have a great weekend, Reverend. Thank you.
Thank you.